Welcome to the coffee shop, everybody. This is your host and baristo, Eric. Sitting down at the table right now. I am not behind the bar. I've spent the last week. This is just a quick update video letting you know that I have been spending the last week finally in the bistro, recoding again the Heiken-ashi algo. You need to understand this is an ongoing project. It is not perfect until I think it's perfect, until I stop coding it. But there are two other indicators that I want to get out to you. So this is the final adjustment that I'll be making to the algo for a while. And I'm sorry, it seems like one of the best buy and sell indicators just got better, right? So there's a number of things that have taken place that make it more visually appealing, a little bit easier for you to use, and you're going to like this. Now, for anyone that is using the RSI formula, okay, I need to talk to you now. For the people using, okay, the RSI formula, you need to watch all the way to the end, okay? You have to, because there is something very important now about the algo, all right? See, this is moving around. You need to look at this. Watch this. See, it's here. It's here. It's here. It's gone. It's here. It's gone. It's here. Okay. Listen. Watch this video all the way through. You're going to find something very important to you if you're using the RSI formula. Things just got easier. So, what you can do now, I would highly suggest go in, open your chart. If you have the algo already up there, because you know you should, it's always there. It's always your favorite, right? Exit out. What I want you to do is go to your indicators and type in Heiken Ashi algo, and you can see it there. It's in my scripts, it's in the favorites. It's not showing up in the community scripts right now. I'm not sure why. Heiken Ashi algo oscillator. There. Nope, that one's by Jay Rogers. Anyway, so here's mine by Coffee Shop Crypto. Heiken Ashi algo oscillator. It's probably because I just did the update, so it's not showing up in the search, but by the time you get it. Also, I'll have a link directly to it in the description of the video, so just click the link below the video and you will be able to get directed right to the algo oscillator and add it to your chart. Okay, so with that being said, you might need to first remove the old one, hit the X, and then re-add it. Now, make sure you, let's do this. Okay, let me do this. I got to do this. I need you to, you know, you got to do the thing. Go down below, like this video, and what else? Subscribe to the channel. Do that because, you know, there's going to be some really nice things coming out. And unless you are subscribed to this channel, you won't know about all the other features coming out. You won't know about the Mass Effect moving average coming out. And you also won't know about the soon to be popular, the Bull Bear Void. Okay, this is big time. I'm serious. This is big time. You could probably use this and two moving averages by themselves, or you can use all three of these together and really catch moves just like a pro. All right. So like and subscribe. Do that. Okay. Let's see. Always ask questions below in the comments area, and let's make this a communal Q&A session. For anyone using the RSI formula, again, I talked about, you are going to have to watch this video all the way through because things are going to be very important. So now let me talk about what's new in the oscillator. Okay, let me turn a few things off here. I don't want to turn off the buy and sell. Let me turn off the Heikin-ashi and the stochastic. You'll notice that there are some nifty looking colors here and a few things have changed right now. I made some really cool adjustments to the visuals. The regular RSI and the RSI moving average. Okay, you can see the numbers for them right there. The regular ones, they were simply just adding more lines to your chart. And I felt that that was getting confusing sometimes. Like you've got lines there, right? I wanted to be able to give you guys a visual representation that is just a little bit more fluid for you, okay? And so that's what's happening here now. So you no longer see that yellow line, but you do get that yellow number here, which gives you your RSI value. All right, and the moving average, obviously, you can tell where that is. So made some really cool adjustments. The RSI moving average, we're just adding more lines to your chart. The oscillator is already cluttered. So obviously, we as humans can get confused when we lose confused or lose focus when there's way too much to see. So I did some testing and found that since most of our reactions and understanding are based on colors to show trends and movement, okay? Colors to show trends and movement. I adjusted the RSI and the RSI moving average to appear as a colored trend. Now, it's very easy to understand what's happening here. Obviously, if you see darkness, like no color going on, there is no volume, there is no momentum here. And if you look here, you'll see that there's no momentum, very little to the downside, right? And if you look straight above, price is moving flat. But right here, you have nice green color, and price did so to move up in that area. It moved up and then it started coming back down. But you'll see that there's sometimes an overlap of the colors, right? You'll see this red is now turning into green, which this is an early buy entry. This is an early entry you can get into. And as it turns black, that's where you want to start getting out. You have lost momentum. It actually starts turning black right here, okay? So this is a little bit easier for people that are doing scalping now. You can go all the way down to a 1 minute, and you could literally watch what's happening here. You can see your highs. Is your high lower than the previous high? If it is, if your low is lower than the previous low, then you know what to do, right? You can see your crossover of your RSI from your moving average, okay? So now you get a little bit better visual representation on what's happening there, right? Let me put the candles back on. What I also did, and I might cover this again in a few seconds, is now you only have 4 sets of numbers here in your status line instead of a whole bunch of things, right? Even if I turn on the stochastics, even if I turn on the stochastics, those values are not here, okay? Because they're not really important. It's a color, it's a trend line. You basically see that it's either going up or going down. So you don't need to know what that value is, and it doesn't need to clutter your chart any further. What you have here is, well, I didn't want to make it I didn't want to take away what you were getting used to. The RSI was yellow, so your number is yellow. You can see what your number is. The next number over is this green number. It's always green no matter what you do, right? And that is your moving average level, all right? RSI level, moving average level. Also, these next 4 numbers, this is the open, high, low, close of your Heiken Ashi candles, okay? And, oh, I'm sorry, the candles are already on there, right? So, and you can see what's happening there, right? Finally, your Heiken Ashi candle is now beyond the RSI. And that means you should be in a good place for a downtrend. You get in there and you don't get out usually until you get a green candle crossing back the other way over that moving average. So that move would have looked like, let's see, that would have gotten in here, right? And I'm saying you would have gotten out, like here's the crossover going back the other way, and boom, you get out there. I don't know if that could possibly be any easier for scalping, right? That is not the method I would use. I'm just letting you know that it's as simple as that now if you're going by colors and scalping real small time frames. Now, I recalculated the buy and sell signals for better entries on low time frames. Obviously, there was a lot of issues with that before. And now I'm all the way down to a 1 minute time frame, and here it's telling me to get into a sell position. I'm wondering where the exit position is. I don't see one right now, but I would have to watch price action. And this is a very good example of following indicators blindly, right? I cannot get the indicator to just give you every single good signal that should appear according to the market, because markets are manipulated, right? And I can't get the algo to make every single one of the signals to appear because markets are manipulated. But it seems to be doing a good job if you follow the golden rule, and that is trade with the main trend. Okay? And I'll cover that real quick based off some questions that I got related to the previous version of the algo. All right, trade with the main trend. Now, when you when you okay, so you buy when the main trend is going up, right? I mean, that's just obvious, right? Do I need to really tell you this? If the main trend is an uptrend, you should be looking for buys, and that's it. If the main trend has changed and it's a downtrend, you should be looking for sells, okay? And that's it. Don't worry about the buys. Just look for the sell positions. Those will be larger moves for you. Let's see what else was updated. The hidden RSI and RSI moving average no longer interfere with the visible changes on the oscillator. What was happening before is some people were going in and they would go and they would change their RSI value to something, and then they would change their moving average to something, right? And what was happening is that the RSI itself was moving a little bit, so were the candles, and they were not supposed to be moving. So that was a mistake on my part. Now you can make your adjustments to whatever you want, and you'll see that the RSI doesn't move. I'm sorry that the scaling is just kind of doing that real quick. You'll see that the RSI is not moving, and only your, what do you call it? And only your moving average is moving. So if you want the moving average to adjust, only the moving average will adjust. If you want the RSI to adjust, only the RSI will adjust, okay? And you'll be able to catch that easier. Now, let's put this back to my 21, close this out, and here we go. What else was done? The upper mid band, I'm gonna show you what that is, okay? Upper mid band. Here we go, and the upper Bollinger, let me, 1 second here. Upper mid band is that green line right there. The upper mid band is now changed to green. The previous version, it was red. The upper mid band is now green to give you indications of possible buy areas. And the lower mid band is red to give you indications of possible sell areas. There's a strategy that I'm going to be putting up, which will tell you when something is crossing the red in a particular direction. That's when you get into a sell position. If it's crossing the green in a particular, if something specific is crossing the green, for example, a wick hits the green, you should be getting into a buy position, but I wouldn't because, this is against the trend. But for example, here, this trend is changing. This wick touches the upper mid band. It's a green candle touching a green line. How much easier can you get? The RSI is changing into a green color. Okay, look, it says buy. The algo already pulled it out. It says buy here. Okay, what would have happened? I would have gotten into a long position here, right? I would have gone for my swing low. If I did my RSI formula, let's see here, right? RSI formula, the RSI now says 5.59. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Look at the oscillator. The oscillator no longer has a 50 at the midline. Now it's 0, and this is going to make the RSI formula easier for you. So the RSI is now a 5.59. That means my formula tells me I'm a 1 to 2.59. I don't need to do anything with that initial number anymore. It's the number, the equation has been done for me. 5 is a 1 to 2, right? And then it's 0.59, 1 to 2.59. I'm going to take this as a 1 to 2.59 right there. And it gets me out right there. And this is just big impulsive move that takes place right here. This is all overbought. You can see because look here, it's all in the overbought area, that whole thing. And it got me out of the trade just as this entered that overbought area. RSI formula simplified, right? I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. So that's the upper mid band and the lower mid band, right? And why are they green? Why are they red? I also adjusted what's called the Z index of the plotting of the candles, the RSI, and the stochastic layering. This way, certain things are on top of certain things, right? So now you can see that the stochastic, which is the least used by you, you can see that it's all the way in the back, right? It's even behind this band, and it even goes behind this band. It goes behind the candles, behind the RSI, because primarily you're using the RSI, the moving average, and the candles, okay? So all of those are on top. The very top thing, on the top layer, first page, I guess you could say, is going to be your Heiken Ashi candles. Just below that is going to be this trend cloud, so that's under the candles. And then underneath everything else are your two stochastic ribbons, okay? They even appear underneath your signals, so they shouldn't be interfering with what you're trying to see on your chart, okay? So a lot of visual references have been adjusted. Okay. Again, let me say this again. Do not buy in a downtrend. Do not sell in an uptrend. Okay. I also removed some needless code from the script, which you probably don't need to see, right? I removed some needless code to make it run a little bit smoother. And now let me get onto some questions, and then I will tell you about the RSI moving, the RSI formula. All right, so question number 1 was, why don't I see support and resistance levels on low time frames? Okay, because large trades do not take place on low time frames. You should only be looking for support and resistance on a 1 hour time frame. And if you see, I'm zooming out and I don't have any support and resistance levels showing up except for this one right here. And let's see what this is here. I see one here. It's a resistance, right? It's the only one that I see. Let me zoom into this spot and see what's going on here. Yep. You get resistance and price starts to move down. It tried moving up from here, but it moved back down, right? And this looks like it's the end of an uptrend. Yep, price is moving up and then it moved back down. But if you go to a 1 hour time frame, you're going to see a multitude of resistance, support here, resistance, support. Now, you should only be setting your support and resistance levels on a high time frame. Leave your markings there. And what you can do is you can go into your alerts. Let me turn this one off, right? Let me go back to where I was a minute ago. I was on Bitcoin. Go to my alerts and you can create an alert. What you do is you go in, you set up your chart with what you're going to do for the day, and you just look, am I in an uptrend or a downtrend? Right now, this is saying a downtrend. So I want to know, when am I going to get a new support level? Because I want to know when the downtrend is about to end. If the move is going down and starts hitting support, that means the move is slowing down. So I want to go, when I set up my chart, go to the Heiken-ashi algo, right? Look for new support level, and it will tell me when one shows up. So that'll happen from the 1 hour time frame, right? But I'm not even on the 1 hour. Let me take that off. That's on the 5 minute. Get off of there. On the 1 hour time frame, okay, set up an alert of the algo for a new support level. I'm saying support level because price is currently moving down and I don't want to hit, oh, it's moving. Yeah, it's kind of jumping around a little bit. So if you're in a clear downtrend, you want to know when support is showing up. That means you need to start reconsidering, do you want to continue trading in a downtrend? Do you want to keep looking for sells? Because if your if your downtrend is slowing down, well, you need to start probably looking for reversals, right? So you do that, and then you would actually go down to your 5 minute or your 1 minute time frame, and you'll get an alert on your screen when a new support level is hit. And that's when you start making your adjustments. All right, so why don't I see support and resistance levels on low time frames? That's why. Don't look for order blocks. Don't look for support and resistance on live time frames because they do not exist, okay? No true support and resistance exist on low time frames. And on low time frames, you will not see order block areas. So stop trying to use that strategy also. Do not use order blocks on low time frames. Question number 2, why are alerts for support and resistance separate from each other? Well, I wanted to make it applicable for people who are going bullish as opposed to people who are going bearish. I could have set up the alerts to pop up on your screen when either one of them shows up, but you want to keep them separate anyway. You don't want to have to needlessly go back and look for something that doesn't exist. You want to just set a support when you think it's going to go show up, or resistance if you think that's going to show up. Those are the alerts that you want separately. How do I set the alerts? Okay, I already showed you that. Go to the 1 hour time frame or higher and set up the alerts in your alerts tab, and you know how to do that. Okay, now let's talk about the RSI formula. Things just got really easy. If you will notice in the new algo, all right, let me shut up the stochastic because we don't need that on there. If you'll notice in the new version of the algo, the midline is now changed to a 0 level, okay? The 0 line is now your midline, and it will make it easier for you to calculate the RSI formula that I talked about. If you don't know what that is, just look down in the description. I left a link to the RSI formula in there, all right? If you've not seen the video, go and check it out. With this, now you don't need to do any adding or subtracting, all right? So, for example, if your RSI comes below 0, for example, anything below 0, here it's positive 311, right? 3.11. Here it's minus 478, minus 478 on this candle. So this could be a potential downside move. And what I see here is that, yep, the wick is crossing below the red line. This should be a proper sell position. The algo is saying that this is a sell position. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to go with this one. It says that the RSI is minus 1.1. So that would be a 1 to 2.11. You see? Look here, right here, okay, at the yellow number. The algo says this is my sell position. The RSI formula says that, okay, go for a short. I'm going to go here. I don't need to subtract anymore. Set this here, right? Got my swing high. I got my entry. The RSI is now minus 1.11. Take off the 1 because you know that gives you your 1 to 2, right? The first 1. Now, the rest of the formula is right there. 1 to 2.11. That's it. It's right there in front of you. 1 to 2.11. And you catch that move right here. Done deal. You catch it just before it moves up and it tests the 50 again. Afterwards, what happens? You come down, you end up testing a large area right here. This is another entry. For me, this is another entry right here. And I want to know what the RSI formula is here. Oh, actually, this tests it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to the swing high. And let's see, the RSI says that value is minus 17.7. That is a 1 to 3.77. 1 to 3.77. I'm just checking this out first time with you guys, right? 1 to 3.77. 3.77. I'm going to go down here. This is a massive move, right? I don't know where this goes, but I'm going to try it. Here. And still going down, right? 3.77. That is a 2% move on a 1 minute time chart, right? On a 1 minute time frame. And you just caught the whole move. It doesn't even tell you to sell, but if you know what you're looking for, then you'll be able to get into that trade. And sure enough, if you saw this test of the 50, wait for it to break below the previous low right here. When it does, you enter, okay? You enter, and you can just wait until the algo says to get out. It says get out over here. So with that, I'm going to get out where it tells me to, right here. And that move now turned into a 2% move, right? 1.99. It tells me to get out there. And then you can see that price actually starts going back up. This is a 1 minute chart. I caught the beginning of the move. Let's say you got into your chart here. You would have been able to look back at that sell position and say, hey, the RSI formula says that it's going to go way down here. I'm going to catch the rest of this move. And you would have caught, I don't know, if you didn't catch all 2%, maybe you caught 1%, or you called a little bit more or a little bit less, whatever the case may be. But using that RSI formula is now easier. I don't want to get into the technical part of how to do a trade on that. That's done with the RSI formula. Now, all you do is you look at this RSI value. If it's a minus, you do the same thing as if it was a plus. You're just shorting. So if it says minus here, that says, yeah, perfect. It says minus 1.11. So you're going to go do a trade of 1 to 2.11. That's it. 1 to 2.11. What about another one? Let's see. There's a test over here. It crosses the 50. Now it's a minus 5.84. Okay, so that's a 1 to 2.84. It says minus 5.84. That's a 1 to 0.84. Your formula is done for you. That's it. Okay. Now, I don't know how much easier I can make this for you. The default settings should be good to go. You should be able to just follow and use the default settings when you load the algo onto your screen. Any questions? Obviously, drop them in the comments section below. And yeah, I'm going to cut the video here because this is where I need to go have lunch. So peace out, people. Enjoy the updates.